like a roast or something, and I just trimmed everything off the outside.
Yeah, but you can, instead of getting roast, you can always get the, you see the London broils?
Yeah.
They really have, like those, they are choice quality. They don't really have much marbling in them.
Right.
If you grind it, they will disappear. And this way, usually beef tartare you grind it 3 times.
3 times?
Yeah, not at once. You grind it, so this way you mix all the contents, it will have a nice texture to it. So if you grind it 3 times, it looks like, I don't really have the chopping right now, we're working on it. So if you grind it 3 times, it looks nice, and then after that you just add the spices to it.
But the London broil though, you get those, you cut those yourself?
It comes from the whole top ground. It's a big hunk of meat. It has
it is. So these were just been cut.
Yeah.
So everything's been trimmed from it anyway. So it's all everything that's right there is already clean, fresh.
Yeah.
It's never been exposed. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
otherwise, the whole top ground it has like big pieces of fat. You see those rows here? Top ground is kind of like that. You just have a little more fat on it and things like that. You take most of it off, and you usually the trimmings of the top end you use it for grinding, for the chopping and things like that. You mix with the shoulder cuts and things like that. And the inside the lean part, constantly you have London broiler. If you cut them up for the pieces, you stew.
Okay. So this as it is, I don't need to.
You don't have to
trim it or anything.
No, just cut them to smaller pieces and grind it. Do you have a grinder at home?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just how much do you actually gonna make?
Just give me a whole piece. I like it a lot. I'm not gonna eat all of it, but I'll share some. You know. Just
I mean, you know, in Poland we used to make the people we don't have any cows grown for the steaks. Usually there are milk cows.
Oh, right.
So they usually use fillets, beef fillets.
Oh, to make the tartare?
Beef tartare. But in here, the beef fillet, the cows are grown for the steaks and things like that. So it becomes too expensive.
Right.
So you're not going to use a $14 or $15 per pound piece of meat just to grind it and make a. I mean, if you have the trimmings and pieces, yeah, but it's still. That's the thing. It's lean, and that's what you want. You want something very, very lean.
Right. Because a couple times I was in Poland, every time we went to a restaurant, because the guy, I was somebody's guest, so I would order it every time. It was so good.
Raw meat. You know, some people add fish to it.
Anchovies.
Yeah. Something like that. Did you care for it?
I don't mind it. It's okay. It's probably not my preference, but I don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean, I tried all different ways.
Yeah.
Usually, when I have friends over, you guys drinking, and have shots of vodka. That's the dish the Polish people really always have. Well, which one would you like?
Does it matter? You pick one. It's fine.
I like this one.
Yeah, that looks good. When you do it, do you mix it with an egg yolk or do you mix it with oil?
You mix you put a little oil.
Yeah.
Yolk, pickles, onion.
Yeah, I do.
And what the heck? It's not soy. Maggi. It's
I know what you're talking about.
It's like a soy sauce.
It's salty.
Yeah,
I never knew what it was, but I know what you're talking about.
It's called Maggi in Polish. You add for the soups and things like that. It's kind of like a soy sauce. It's very high sodium in it. So, but you use salt, black pepper.
Okay.
You chop the onion, chop the pickles, and eggs. That's it.
Perfect. Alright, so now that we're back from the store, after visiting my good buddy Charlie at Lysio's, we've got our piece of meat, and got my mixer, which I attached a meat grinder to, and what I'm going to do is basically I'm just going to cut this up, I'm going to feed it through. Now, I've had beef tartare several different ways. I've had it where the meat's been more finely ground, and I've had it where it's been more of a coarse ground, and I've even had it where it's just been chopped with a knife. Personally, I prefer a little bit more coarse, but I don't like it when it's been chopped with a knife, which will work out just about perfectly because the die that I have in here for my grinder, it leaves it more like a coarse ground, which is what I like because I like it to have a little bit more texture. I don't like it to be like putty, you know, like so smooth. Because then you start to wonder, like, okay, am I eating beef? Is this like what is this? You know, it's a little too smooth. Something with some texture. I'm gonna preface this before I go ahead and say, don't try this at home, or yeah, that's my disclaimer. Don't try this at home. I certainly don't want to be responsible for anybody, you know, who doesn't do it properly and gets sick. I made a special, you know, a special effort to, you know, I have a good butcher who I trust to have handled the meat properly. One thing you never ever want to do is just simply go to the grocery store and pick up some ground meat and, like, you know, go home and eat it raw. I would not do that. As most of you know, a steak, you could, so long as you were to sear the outside, you could eat the inside practically raw, because any of the bacteria resides on the outside of the meat. That being said, this piece of meat right here, earlier today, was one giant piece of meat, which was then trimmed and then cut into steaks for London broil. So any part that was exposed to the outside has already been physically removed. So whether you choose to physically excise it or cook it, you are achieving the same thing, and that is either killing or removing the bacteria from the outer part of the meat. So, like I said, I have a piece of meat that I trust to be clean, free of bacteria, safe. Again, if any of you are going to try this yourselves, I would recommend that you either get the meat from I would always recommend you getting your meat from a reputable butcher, someone who you have a personal relationship with. It's someone who you're able to tell them what your intention is for that meat, and that hopefully if there's someone who knows what they're talking about, they could guide you. Charlie, as you saw earlier, is of Polish background, and this is something that is very common, so it's something he's very familiar with, something he does all the time, so he was able to point me in the right direction. So, without further ado, let's get started. I guess, like you said, I got hooked on it during my visits to Poland several years back. It's very common there, and I was someone's guest, so everywhere I went, I was well fed, and it's something they recommended, something I liked, and then every restaurant I went to after, something I would order. Again, there's really, assuming you're working with, well, first of all, it's incredibly tasty. And assuming you're working with, you know, high quality meat that's been handled properly and prepared properly, it's safe. From a nutrition standpoint, you know, we're using a cut of meat that is very lean, and, you know, from a digestibility standpoint, you know, some people might argue that cooked meat is more digestible, even though it is slightly denatured. But either way, I mean, it's a fine source of protein. As you're going to see later on, we're going to add a couple things to it, but nothing that would prevent it from being a viable part of someone's diet, whether it's off season or pre-contest. Well, I'll show you later. But I think it's an excellent tasting food. It's something that, you know, and from a nutrition standpoint, it works. I've seen and experienced tartare done a few different ways. One of the ways is, all right, there's typically things that you would put like as accessories to the meat, right? Like capers, chopped up baby pickles, maybe some marinated mushrooms, maybe some mustard on the side. Now, the way that I like it is to have the beef kind of front and center and have those condiments on the side. I've also seen it where people kind of just put all that in with the meat and then throw it through the grinder again and just kind of like mix it all. And to me that reminds me of like raw like meatloaf or something, like ugh, gross. I prefer to have it the other way, where all I'm going to do is add some oil, raw egg yolk, and some salt to the meat, and mix it together. Put it front and center, and then put the, you know, some condiments on the side, and serve it with some sliced bread to have. Really good. When it comes to the oil, I would prefer something mild. I wouldn't use olive oil because sometimes it could have like a bit of a bite to it. macadamia nut oil is nice. I have some almond oil, really nice, because it's mild, but it's kind of rich at the same time, so it won't, I wouldn't use olive oil. I also wouldn't use like sunflower oil or safflower oil, because most of it is junk. This is actually a very high quality almond oil by Flora. They actually make a lot of good oils. You probably have heard of Udo's oil. Their processing, everything is pretty much top notch, so you know that you're getting oils that are not oxidized and are what they're supposed to be. And you can actually taste the difference. So we've got several pounds of meat here, and I'm probably only going to add maybe 1 or 2 tablespoons of oil and 1 egg yolk. I'm kind of just going to rough it, just do it on the fly, and see kind of how it looks. I could probably find a recipe somewhere, but this is more exciting, right? Now, from my understanding, now don't quote me on this, but the odds of getting salmonella from a raw egg is pretty slim overall. That being said, I think that you're more likely to get salmonella from the white than you are from the yolk. Now, again, don't quote me on that. I could be totally wrong, but I thought I either remember reading that or being told that. Might or might not be true, but I'm willing to take my chances. You could add pepper if you like. I don't like pepper, so I don't add it. This will help not only flavor the meat, but improve the textural quality of it. I'm just going to give it a little taste to see if it needs more salt. Honestly, it's really, really good. It's so beefy, fresh. It's like sushi with steak, but better because it's tartare. It's like tuna tartare, but better because it's beef. It's good. That is it. There's the beef, some chopped up baby pickles, capers, chopped up mushrooms, and a French baguette that I just cut and gave it a quick toast. And well, here, I'll show you how I do it. I'm telling you guys, this is actually like really, really like super good. Like not just like yeah, it's okay. Like, no, it's like really, really good. It's so good. And honestly, like if you were doing it the last meal of the day, oh, I don't want to have any bread, like, you don't even really need the bread. Like, the meat is so good itself, and with a couple little chopped up sides, which, so what, it's just some vegetables. Really, really good. I would tell you to try it, but I don't know if I should do that. So I'm just gonna finish this off and enjoy it. So, see you later.